So I guess if I said, hey, don't knock hallucinations, well, I wouldn't say I'm exactly knocking it because the big picture is big, but let's say this. I'm not knocking imagination. I just don't see the advantage of being able to distinguish that an imagination is an imagination. I mean, for example, I'm pretty good at visualization. When I was a kid, we'd ride around going up to the grandparents and stuff. And I played a game in the car, and I visualized that there was a surfer that surfs along the bushes and trees and the tops of the trees and bushes and the lawns and along everything really fast. And I can really picture that pretty well. And I still can. I never lost that ability. And it's very realistic. It's gotten pretty damn realistic, this visualization. And, I don't even derive entertainment from it anymore, but for all the years I did as a kid, it's easy to reproduce this visual. And it can be a little bit entertaining now even, but, not for the hours I used to do it. But what would be the advantage of not being able to tell that was an imagination? I mean, it's pretty realistic. He goes, he's got good, but kind of comic book physics, but pretty good stuff, and the branches move as he bashes through them, leaves fly. This is all in my imagination. What would be the advantage of thinking it was really in the real world and losing the ability? That would increase the quality of the illusion. See, imagination isn't quite like that, right? Illusion can be a good thing, but an imaginary illusion that you have control over, how is that made more realistic? By being able to indistinguish, by having it be indistinguishable rather from, a material illusion, an illusion manifested because your senses told you think there really is something there. Why would not being able, if I could visualize a rose in my hand really realistically, why would it help that I didn't know it wasn't really in my hand? That would make it more realistic. How? Because it would feel more real. Well, it wouldn't feel more real because it would feel more real than it ought to. It wouldn't fit its actual reality. I mean, the ideal state with an imagination is to be able to picture it really clearly, like a virtual reality image, and you can have images like that. And to still know, it's imaginary. There's no reason for me to imagine a flower on the table with the real flower and then not be able to know which is which. That cannot give me more information. In other words, the most realistic imagining of an imaginary flower, it retains its imaginariness. Why? Because it really is. So that's a part of its realism, is that it really is an imagination.